So, how honest do we want to get today? I know a lot of you hearing this are going to think, oh, she's obviously talking about relationship. No, I'm talking about everything. I feel like people expect everyone to act in a way that evokes rage. I want you to be able to hear what I'm saying, go back into the Bible and see it for yourself.
I've been all over the world, and I seen the finest wine, and I seen the finest times, but all the pretty girls never behave.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl B and I'm back with another video. Hey y'all, hey. Firstly, if it is your first time here, I ask that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Promise you'll love it here. I ask that if you watch my videos but you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because you're gonna love, and not even because you're gonna love, you already love my videos and you continuously watch them. So hit the subscribe button. And then to those of you who are already subscribed, welcome back, gang. Appreciate y'all. We are locked in and I love that for us. So let's jump in to today's video. So how honest do we want to get today? And like in the past week, 2 weeks, I feel like people have been trying me. I feel like there have been people who've been trying to get me to engage in some type of dysfunction. I feel like there are people who have been trying to engage me in a way that I used to engage in certain interactions, and I'm trying to hold fast because one, it doesn't feel good. Me right now, I don't like to argue. I don't like to fight. I don't like to go over a situation over and over and over and over. I just want solutions. Okay, so I'm going to be real transparent with y'all. I've been feeling defeated. I've been feeling like nothing has been going my way, or initially I tend to feel like nothing is going my way. I feel like things are difficult. I feel like nothing is solid right now in most areas of my life. I feel like there's just so much happening all at once, and I think I'm trying so hard to trust the process and trust that God is going to allow me to make it through, and trust that God is going to bring back the joy into my life. But then there are times where I'm just like, why do I even bother? Like, why don't I just act like everybody else? Why don't I just do what is culturally accepted? Because I feel like it would get me so much further than where I am. Now, obviously, what's keeping me from doing that is the fact that I know that I'm not going to have happiness. I'm not going to have true happiness. I'm not going to have true joy. I'm not going to feel good for making decisions out of just wanting to feel good in the moment, just wanting to feel pleasure in the moment, of just wanting to feel accepted in terms of what's going on in the world, or not what's going on in the world, but feel accepted within today's traditions and today's society and today's culture. I feel like when people say that to be of the word is to be against the world, they truly mean that. It is not easy. It is not easy. And I get why some people kind of keep it to themselves, because people can't, I don't know why I don't want to use the word condemn, but that's the only word that's coming to mind. But people won't condemn you. They won't judge you if they don't know about your religion, about your belief system, about what it is that you're looking for and what comes with that. I think people know that, yeah, everyone has this general idea that I love God, God loves me, I love Jesus, Jesus loves me. But when you break that down and start to think of what that looks like in terms of our values, so I've said it in the video before, I don't necessarily drink like I used to, right? People will judge you for that. I try not to have meaningless interactions with people. They will judge you for that. I believe that it is important to, you know, be abstinent. People will judge you for that because that goes against the culture. What else is there? Gossiping. I try not to do that. People will go against you for that. There are certain values that I am heavily following as a believer of Christ. Don't judge people. I'm trying so hard not to do that, or I try so hard every day not to do that. It shows up at not the best time, because imagine you telling me a story about what someone's done to you and I'm like, well, devil's advocate, people hate that. And I get it, but I can't help it, and I feel like I'm rambling, so let's just kind of jump into the text today, and then hopefully I can make sense of all of this. Today we're going to be reading from the book Galatians chapter 6 verses 7 through 9, and it reads, "Don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant. Those who live only to satisfy their own sinful nature will harvest decay and death from that sinful nature. But those who live to please the Spirit will harvest everlasting life from the Spirit. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up." So like I said, I feel like God is telling us to just keep going, to continuously trust in Him, to not give up, to not fall victim to cultural means or cultural normalcy. Like, remain steadfast in your faith in God and continuously behave in a way that represents who He has called us to be. So like I said earlier in this video, I do feel defeated at times, and I feel like, what's the point? Like, I could be so much further ahead if I just behaved of the culture of the world. And it's a lot of things that are stopping me from that. One of them is my conscience. I cannot knowingly go out and do what I know is wrong. For the most part, I won't lie and say that I haven't slipped up sometimes, because I definitely have. And when I tell you, it left me feeling even more defeated, and it made me feel like I was even further from my goals. So yeah, that's a big part of why I don't continue to do it. But I do think that I have to continuously remind myself that submitting to the culture will not benefit me. It will not make me feel good. It'll just make me feel guilty. Like, I could obtain the benefits, but it just won't feel good to me. I won't appreciate it. I won't feel like I deserved it. Like, one thing for me, I can't throw people under the bus. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't like to talk dirt on other people to get ahead. That's just not something I enjoy doing. I don't like to give in to what other people expect of me, or cut corners in certain way just for the overall sake of meeting goals or meeting the standards set by other people, or to be in relations that just visually look good but don't feel good, doesn't feed my spirit, doesn't feed my soul. And yeah, I'm really trying to remember that there's a plan, and at the end of it all, God is going to bless me. I just have to continuously do the works to get there and be repetitive about it, and unwaver from the path that is set for me. While on this path, I also think it's very important that I be honest when I vocally speak to. So me sitting here on camera, I know that I'm supposed to say things that God approves of, that God shows us, that God has said to us over and over and time again. And it would be wrong of me to get on this platform and then start to speak against that. Let's say that I went against everything I'm saying and said the complete opposite just to obtain a following, to obtain people who don't necessarily care about the word, but just care about things that sound good to them. I don't want to be that person. I want to be honest in what I'm telling you. I want it to be of God. I want it to be of His word. I want you to be able to hear what I'm saying, go back into the Bible and see it for yourself. That is always my goal. And I think that in doing things this way, it has slowed down my progress. Like, the content I used to post before, easy views, could get to 1,000 views in no time. However, after a while, I feel like God called me away from posting such videos, because not because I was intentionally doing anything wrong, but because how people ingested the content was a totally different story, and I spoke about that in another video. So in verse 7, it says, "Don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You will always harvest what you plant." I'm trying to be someone who plants seeds so that they can grow and multiply. And I think it's rather interesting because the seeds that I'm trying to plant don't nobody care about. Like, if I'm being completely honest, like, I feel like it's not sensational enough for people to ingest it, for people who want to hear it, for people to kind of grab at it. So I was recently telling my friends a story regarding me and someone I'm interested in, right? However, where I am right now, I'm not jumping into anything crazy. It's not advancing at like a super fast pace. Like it's just very slow. And I was telling my friends an incident that just occurred. And when I tell you they look uninterested, I think they were looking at me like, okay, well, what else happened? And it was like, nothing else happened. That was literally it. But I was so excited because for me, that's like a little progress, right? But I think people move so much quicker, and they expect that to be the norm for everyone. So I was just like, dang, should I be doing more? Should it have progressed further than it already has? And I'm just like, no, that's not me. That's me projecting what I think other people think to be normal. So I had to like decompress, get within the confines of my own home and be like, nah, that's pretty good. Go at your pace. Do not try to quicken it to just fit in, because if I were to do that, it would go terribly bad really quick. So it's all about having discernment and doing things in moderation and engaging it to see what is to come of it, because I don't want to give a situation my all and then it turns out like that wasn't for me. But then it's too far gone, you know, where it's like we've advanced into something way beyond what was meant for us. I'd rather take it slow, get to know the person, get to speak to them when I can, and not just get totally and completely lost in the romantic aspect of it. But yeah, it was just so interesting because I could literally see on their faces that they were like, "Girl, be quiet." But it's just incidents like that where I feel like I'm trying to stay close to God. I try to read the word daily. I definitely do fall off some days, but that is what keeps me close to Him, close to what He calls me to be, close to how He defines Christians and how Christians should live. Because if I didn't, I would fall off. I would fall off after like third day of not having any type of connection or ties to God's word. So shout outs to God for keeping me grounded. But it's very hard. It's very hard to see what is happening for so many other people and want to give in. And not to say that everybody who has the things that I want or the things that I desire are getting it because they are obtaining it sinfully or doing unsavory things to obtain it. Like, no, there are some people who are really excelling in what they're doing and they're doing it the right way. But at the end of the day, they put in that work, they put in that patience to get there versus cutting corners, getting it, and then falling off. Like, what is for me, I want to be for me for the long haul. I don't want it to be something that I trick or manipulate myself into. I want it to be of God. So I know that there is nothing that any mere human can do to get in the way of what He has placed in front of me. That's when it comes to my relationship. That's when it comes to my finances. That's what I mean when it comes to my finances, my career, my family, just like everything like that. Like, I want God to be the center of it. I don't want to have to orchestrate it to my own being, because then it's not going to be fruitful. It's not going to plant a seed. It's just a temporary fixture, and I don't want that. I want to be great in everything. In verse 9 it says, "So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up." So that goes back to what I just said. Like, just continuously do things, continuously work to get the things that you want. I think that old me would have gotten defeated and just been like, you know what, it is what it is, I don't care, and just stop doing it. But now, like, I'm continuously doing it. Even for me, like, putting out these videos right now, I don't see a big return on them right now, but I also feel like God is calling me to share these messages to let it be known, to hopefully plant seeds in other people, because for me, it makes me feel like I'm doing what God's asking me to do. I think this is a form of discipleship. I don't know who I'm discipling to, per se, but I feel like someone needs to hear what I'm saying. And whether it be 5 people, 10 people, 30 people, 40 people, 200 people, I don't care. Like, I want to be consistent in sharing his message because it matters that much to me. So I'm going to continuously do it. And if it ever goes anywhere, then that's great. But if it doesn't, then I'm okay with that too. Sometimes in our career, it can feel like we're not getting paid enough, especially if you live in New York City, because you know New York City is super expensive. But at the end of the day, you have to keep continuously showing up and doing the job and doing it well. I also feel like in everything that you do, there are going to be people who criticize you. And I feel like even with that, you just have to keep going. Sometimes you have to take what they're saying into consideration, because there is a such thing as constructive criticism. So yeah, when you hear constructive criticism, go ahead and try to find ways to incorporate that into what it is you're trying to do. But there are some people who just want to criticize you and add nothing. They just want to talk bad about what you're doing in any setting of what it is. And you kind of just have to cancel them out, mute them, and just continuously do what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you're gonna grow. Even if they are saying things that you need to hear, the delivery does matter, the tone does matter. And if it is something that, again, just sounds negative, take it and throw it. And you don't even have to respond in a negative way. It's just like, all right, I hear you, but continue to do what you're doing, because at the end of the day, what is for you is for you. And if you know that you're doing it with the purest of intent, then God is going to, bless you, especially if it's something that points people to him. That was pretty much it for today's video. This message for all of you is just to keep going in everything that you're doing, especially if you know that God's hand is on it. Even if you are in a season where you may not be reaping the rewards that you know normally comes with what you are doing, it is okay, because you're remaining faithful to God. And once God sees that you are faithful while you haven't received anything, he's going to bless you with so much more. Just continuously remember to be faithful to him. And yeah, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you made it to the end, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Promise you'll love it. So much great content here on this channel. So yeah, I'll catch y'all all in the next video. Until then, bye.
New York and MIA, then it's PG around my way, so I'm never had to stay away.